Good morning, sports fans. How you doing?
That might be the least inspiring start to a show I've ever seen.
Let me try it again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, sports fans.
There we go. See, I knew you had it in you.
Just takes a bit to get fired up, I'm a bit dusty in the head.
Yeah, I can tell. I'm sorry to say, normally you look and sound great, but today you
Flat.
don't look like you're firing on all cylinders.
No, man. I feel like I've lost my cylinders down to one, pumping.
What's what do you think that phrase will turn into now with the rise of electric motors?
I'm not running on all volts. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm not running on
I'm
all volts. I'm going to use
doesn't
that.
sound as good,
I'm,
does it?
I'm actually going to use that now. Sorry, guys, not running on all volts.
Run
It rolls off the tongue. Trademark it. Trademark it. I'm fucking trademarking it.
it just seems a bit fruity to me.
Here we go.
Hey, do you wanna Do you want to know what else is fruity?
Bananas and apples.
Yeah, bananas and apples, but the what's the most fruity fruit?
Juicy fruit.
The fruitiest fruit, I think, is Justin Trudeau.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Why?
Listen, I'm a proud Canadian. But
Right?
have you seen what he's done to the passport?
Nah, man.
It's pretty fruity. Look at that.
I don't know, man. That looks like a regular passport to me. Splash of color. Just. I don't know. Is that a little stag down the bottom? Is that a stag?
Those look like some fruity colours to me. That is a stag.
I like stags. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Right on.
you're not feeling so great, but that's okay. Um, what I'm gonna do now for the sports fans is rattle off a few of the best known conspiracy theories out there in an attempt to cheer up Corey and to bring him some energy so that he may recover from the whatever jungle fever that he's got right now. And then we're going to start a hashtag pray for Corey. Hashtag pray for Corey
You're a piece of work.
to see if he
Please
survives.
don't. Please don't. I'll have this done in
Hashtag
a
pray
few.
for Corey, okay?
I'll have this done in a few days. Don't worry about me.
See, look, you seem better already.
I told you it comes in waves,
You've
man.
perked up.
So is this going to be like
I
a?
think
Is
there's
it?
a chance.
Is this going to be like an MTV kind of like top 10 of Reese's, or is it top 10 of the world's? Like, is this something that Google has, or is this something
Well,
that you've pieced together?
no, let's just say that these are all pretty well known conspiracy theories, I would say. But I'm just going to give you all the nuts and bolts about them. Why they're prevalent, what the theory is, who thinks it, what they want to do about it, this and that. Does that make sense?
Okay, okay.
So these aren't necessarily my theories. I don't believe all of them.
Okay.
Maybe some of them, but definitely not all of them. Um, but let's explore them. Let's see what the people are saying. Are you ready?
I I just keep having this vision in my head where it's like a countdown from MTV. It's like coming in at number 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. This one. And then it's like talk about it, and then it moves to number 9, and then we'll get to number 1. But you do you.
Well, the trouble is, I just don't know which order I would rank them.
Yeah.
Which one I like the best.
All right. Hit it.
Should we start at number? Should we start with number 9 or number 11?
Uh I see what you did there.
It took you a while to there, but you
I
did.
was like, who the fuck starts at 9 or 11? Can't you just start at yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
I'm
got there.
picking. I'm picking
What
up
do you
on
know
you
about
from there.
9/11?
Sad day for the world as well as especially America. Couple of terrorists took over, commandeered some planes and did terrible things in Manhattan.
Mm. Well, yeah, obviously it was a very tragic day, and you have to tread carefully when you talk about these things because at the end of the day, a couple of thousand people died. Innocent
Yeah,
people who were just going about their day to day. So it always feels strange talking about conspiracies of what happened on 9/11 because you don't want to be devaluing the grief felt
absolutely not.
for the actual innocent people who suffered that day. So it is a tricky subject to broach. Um, the the mainstream story, as we know it, is that a group of terrorists, Saudi nationals, organized by Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda, hijacked passenger airplanes and flew them into the World Trade Center and other targets.
Yeah,
The World Trade Center being the most famous targets.
and the Pentagon as well, right? Was it the
This
Pentagon?
then,
Yeah.
yeah, so the Pentagon was hit as well,
Yeah.
allegedly.
Oh,
Allegedly. Now, there are a few conspiracies about 9/11. There are a few out there that are some more famous than others. Obviously, there's the famous scene of George Bush being told that there'd been an emergency in New York, and there's a lot of speculation as to whether that was staged on purpose in that way.
okay.
There are lots of theories of advanced knowledge of this kind of event happening. That apparently the American uh, government agencies knew that this was going to happen and decided to let it happen.
Oh,
Now that's pretty dark because the implication there is that the American agencies could have saved these people but chose not to.
that's mental.
The allegation is that it was allowed to happen to be a false flag. That if you allow it to happen, then that allows the US military industrial complex to go after this target. If they allow it to happen, that allows them to launch wars that they wouldn't have the
Oh, it's like a setup.
uh, yeah, they wouldn't have the what's the word I'm looking for? They wouldn't have the mandate to go after these targets in the Middle East were it not for a catastrophic event like that.
Right. Fuck.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Crazy. Coming in with the darkness straight up.
Yeah, it's a pretty shitty one, that, isn't it? Um,
Yeah, man.
there's a lot of debate about whether the burning jet fuel, the heat caused by the impact, would be enough to melt the structure of the buildings and then cause the subsequent collapse.
Because what's jet fuel, right? Like in a car, it's like octane, like 91, 93. And then you get like the premium ones, 95, 97, or 98, this kind of thing. Like jet fuel's like, what, 100? 100 plus? Super
Jet fuel
rich.
is a different thing. It's
Oh, it doesn't fall under the same
yeah,
octane
but
rating?
no, jet fuel is it's got a word, the kerosene.
Surely it has an octane though, right?
Yeah, but it's yeah, kerosene type jet fuel. I think there's lots of different types of jet fuel.
Uh, but I guess that would have to be like a. I guess you'd have to simulate that, like in another building, right? Like you'd have to have the jet fuel, use a
A quick
device to slam it into the building, I guess, and then figure it out from there. But it must burn fucking hot.
a quick Google search says that jet fuel burns at around 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I think that's less than 1,000 Celsius.
Okay.
Now, what is an engine made of? A jet engine.
A jet engine, what is it made of?
It must
Like
it must be
steel.
made of steel, no?
Yeah, steel.
So how does that
Okay,
not
I
melt?
hang on, wait a second, dude. You can I see what you're doing there. It's just the same as an automobile, right? You have the combustion engine, and it's pumping. There's little sparks and little fires in the engine and on top of the cylinders. That's how you fucking propel yourself forward. It's encased in steel. The engine block is steel, and that doesn't blow
Mm-hmm.
up. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
Drag cars. Sometimes you'll throw a piston, shoot it through the hood, right? But those like an L like a jet, a plane that's carrying people. That engine is a turbine, right?
Yeah, jet engines are built different. A
Yeah,
jet engine is essentially a fan, and there are
yeah,
two parts to it. There's a spinny bit, and then a
yeah,
bypass bit as well.
yeah,
And the
and that
the
puts out
heated
the
the heated air
heat. Yeah,
turns the turbine, and that gives you
yeah,
thrust.
yeah. It works the same way as a turbo.
I'm not an engineer,
No,
but
but it's
that's
the same way as a
basically how it
turbo.
works.
You put
Yeah,
you
it
put
compresses the air,
it compresses the air even
heats
tighter,
and compresses.
and then you get so much more heat out of the exhaust that propels you forward. That's
Yeah.
how a turbo works, right? So that's how engines work for the sports fans. But 1500 degrees Fahrenheit is
We've taken a
800
slight detour here.
eight dude, that was to be expected. 1500 degrees Fahrenheit is 815 degrees Celsius. So
Hmm.
I just think, okay, like I put I put the air fryer on in the oven. That's around 425. If you double that, put some steel in there, dude. I think after time it will melt, or not melt, but just like warp and get all out of shape and shit. I'll give you an
Well,
example.
that's the question:
I
is
give you an
how
what? I give
much
you an
does it have
example.
to warp? How much does it have to weaken for it to collapse on itself?
Okay, I'll give you an example. I was in Melbourne. What was it? The Black Friday fires. That was 2008 or 2009, and they just finished building the biggest like is it a Ferris wheel? The one that goes around like that. There's one in London. It's a Ferris wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah, they started. They
yeah,
just completed it on the in the southern hemisphere, the biggest in the southern hemisphere. And on the Black Friday fires, it was 50 degrees Celsius. Train tracks and tram tracks in Melbourne, the steel was warping. And then they figured out that the whole Ferris wheel was operational for 2 days. They had to bring it down and rebuild it again with stronger steel. And that was at 50 degrees Celsius for an extended amount of time, like about a week. And that's enough to
yeah.
bend
But
steel.
what you're talking about there, though, is very fine margins, right? For like, okay, put it like this: do you know why we've only? Do you know what the biggest concern with building tall buildings is? The
What?
number one biggest concern
That they can
for their
fall?
design is fire. Is fire,
Okay, yeah.
and they're built to fire codes because obviously, if there's a fire 50 stories in the air,
Yeah.
it's really hard to put out that fire.
You're not running a fire hose or a high
So,
power water cannon up 50 flights.
so these buildings are designed in such a way that fires are well contained. Now, obviously, a plane smashing into your building is going to mess with the fire defenses quite a lot. But is it enough to cause both buildings to come down on themselves? That's the question. And I
Yeah.
don't have the answer.
Yeah.
The bigger question for me is I can wrap my head around a plane hitting a building and then that building coming down. What I can't wrap my head around is how Tower 7 went down.
Because that's just
If you
totally
don't,
separate.
yeah, if you don't know, the main two towers were hit by planes. Tower 7 was next to the main two towers. It was small in comparison. It was maybe not even half the size. That tower went down, and you need to look at the video of that tower going down because it looks like, dare I say, a controlled demolition. It falls perfectly in on itself, as if it were rigged to go down. And that building wasn't even hit by a plane. The official reason why that went down is that apparently debris from the other buildings fell onto it and caused fires inside of that building, and those fires caused Tower 7 to go down in its own footprint.
Yeah, right.
And if that's not enough, there's also footage from the BBC reporting that Tower 7 has gone down with Tower 7 in the background of their footage.
Huh.
They're reporting that it's gone down before it had even gone down.
Ooh.
Now we're getting a bit freaky, aren't we?
That's fucking weird, man.
This isn't the kind of thing they're going to teach you at school, all right?
No, they're going to teach you algebra, and I already talked to you about that.
Yeah. I don't think you thought it was a valuable lesson. There's also a conspiracy about 9/11. The owners of the buildings originally it was some dock company in the lower Manhattan area, but it was sold to a guy, and the buildings were getting old. They needed a lot of money spent on them for refurbishment. A lot. They were riddled with asbestos, and there were some structural issues as well that meant the guy was going to have
Right.
to spend over $1 billion to just to refurbish them.
Right.
And there's an allegation that this was allowed to happen because then the insurance covered the cost of rebuilding.
See, that's something. See, yeah, yeah, okay. That's some, like an insurance kind of fraudy thing. Yeah, okay.
That doesn't seem too unreasonable, right?
I would probably say that that kind of
Just
fraud
that kind of
or
shit
things like
happens
that would happen
probably
daily.
all the time.
Yeah,
You know, obviously
yeah,
it would be illegal to do so, but it's not beyond the realm of possibility that someone might own a building in poor condition that has a really good insurance plan and wouldn't mind seeing that building burn down.
yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, man,
Who
that's
knows?
crazy. You really deep dived that one, didn't you?
Well, not really. This is all stuff you can find on Wikipedia in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
The
crazy.
crazy thing is, you know what's actually crazy is, in the last 25 years, the human race has been given access to all of the world's information and spent the whole time playing Angry Birds instead.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Everyone walked around with a computer in their pocket, right? That could tell you literally anything you wanted to know about the world. And instead, most people played Temple Run.
I didn't play that one. I'll be straight up. I don't know what the fuck that is. But Angry Birds played played that for a bit.
Temple Run was Temple Run was good. That was
It
good.
sounds like
It
something
was
like Indiana
basically
Jones or something.
yeah, that was the theme.
Okay.
Temple
Okay.
Run. You had a fella, and he was running, and you had to make him jump or go to the left or go to the right or like slide under things,
Okay. Okay.
and you had to collect coins, and that was basically it. You had to like jump over obstacles and go around things, and that was basically it.
Yeah.
The simplest game in history, but
Sounds like
millions and
Pitfall.
millions of people played it.
Yeah.
I never played Pitfall.
Never played Pitfall.
No. Do you remember?
No.
Do you remember one of the very early apps on the iPhone? Was there was a guy? He built an app where it was a beer app, and on the phone, the screen looked like a pint of beer, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
used to
Yeah. And you
drink,
turned it.
and it would pour the beer out.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy, that guy made millions of dollars off of that.
No way.
And you know what? Good on him.
Dude, just something so easy like that.
Good on him.
Crazy. Do you remember the
See that
pens? Do you remember the
the what?
pens where the pens where you had a chick at the top of the pen, and she was like fully clothed, and then you turn like as you turn it upside down to right, the clothes come off. Do you remember those?
No, I don't, but I do
Uh,
remember when you
Massive
used to go
distraction.
into a yeah. I do remember when you used to go into a pub in England, and you go into a pub in Britain, and there was a Nobby's Nuts
Oh,
selection
fuck yeah.
on the wall, and every time someone bought a packet of nuts, it revealed more of the scantily clad woman on the back of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's allowed anymore. You know, in Britain, up until not that long ago, page three was a thing. Have you ever heard of a page three girl?
I have heard of this, yeah. They didn't have it in
So,
Australia, but all my mates that went to the UK, they're like, page three, page three.
in the main tabloid newspapers, literally the best-selling newspapers in the land,
Like the sun.
on page three, like the Sun
Yeah,
was famous for it,
yeah.
and the Daily Star and Daily Sport. Most of them had page three at one point,
That's
and
funny.
page three was just a topless girl.
It was like, but then it had like a little story, like bio, like what do you do for work? And it's like, oh, I'm a school teacher, or I work in human resources, or something like that. And then it's
Yeah,
like, what kind of car do you drive? It's like, oh, Toyota Corolla. Like it had this little like bio thing. It's crazy,
yeah. I don't know how accurate the bios were.
right?
I
Of
don't know how
course,
many people read the bios, but there was always a bio there. It would tell you the name, how old she was,
yeah.
and a few things like that about her. What she enjoyed doing, whether she enjoyed gardening or something like that.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
that was a thing.
that was a thing.
That
Yeah,
was a thing, and that's not that long ago. Can you
no.
imagine? Can you imagine being a journalist now, being the editor, a sub-editor of a newspaper, going into your boss's office saying, "Hey, I've got a great idea for what we can put on page three of the newspaper."
You know that guy
Tits.
just you know that guy just came out of a nightclub. He's still a bit dusty from the night before. The ecstasy's still peaking. He's like, I'm gonna tell the boss about this one. Page three.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. You know, my parents are 60 years old ish. And I said this to them the other day. I think they lived through the absolute peak years of human existence on this planet.
Yeah.
They grew up
It,
in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
it's still yeah. If fuck man, if you grew up in the '70s, dude, holy shit. If that nah, I tell a lie. I was gonna say if I could ever go back to relive, I would probably say the '80s.
Mm.
I think the
I,
'80s just had it.
I was born in the 90s, right? But I see more and more clips. I actually think that the 1980s in America was probably
Yes,
the actual
yes,
peak of human civilization.
dude, it was good. And like, I like look, I'm born in '87. Like, I can't actually say I lived it. Not even close. But dude, the music in America,
The music,
the
the
music,
style,
the
the
style.
the swagger.
Ah, ah. Dude, think about the movies in cinema, like Arnold Schwarzenegger just coming
Yeah,
through the ranks, and those kind of movies, dude. Just the cars, even just 1980s. It was coming into the future, but still had some muscle characteristic. It was cool.
yeah, yeah. Shows like Miami Vice,
Okay, you just fucking fired me up.
right?
Woo!
Style, the style. I love the style. I love the music. If I could go back to anything, it would probably be that.
Dude,
It's
if you
it's
looked
the
at
era
you
where
go.
no, it's I mean it's the era where Donald Trump was just a dude in New York building things, you know,
The
and
the
everyone loved him.
dude,
Like
the music,
that was
man.
the peak of cool America.
The music was so diverse. You had the rise of like hip hop and rap from coast to coast, New York to LA, very different styles. And then you had the LA rock and roll scene coming through, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, glam, hair metal, like you had Metallica on the rise. dude. Now these are music genres that I like associate with, but even if you looked at pop,
and
like
and
Madonna, and all this fucking crazy
and
stuff, like
synthesizers.
synthesizers, you had fucking dude, what a time! What a time! Take me back. If I was
Yeah.
18, if I was
So
18 in
my
1980,
my
that would be old time.
yeah, my parents were born in the early 60s. My mother was 19 in 1980.
19 in dude.
You know,
In England though, right?
I think that's yeah. But she
Or
actually lived in
Wales?
America for a year as well,
Oh yeah.
in Wales.
But
But
even
like,
like
I think
England in
that
like the 70s, 80s, like 75 to 85 would be fucking sick too.
I'll tell you what I watched the other day was Top of the Pops. Do you have you ever seen Top of the Pops?
No.
So I was at home and I was watching a rerun of Top of the Pops from 1976. Top of the Pops is such a radical show at the time. They used to get actual, genuine A-listers, like the biggest bands, the biggest singers of the day, to come on this show every week and sing the songs that were in the top 40 in front of a live audience.
Is that like Countdown?
Yeah, like a top 40 countdown, and they would go through the top 40 on
Huh.
Top of the Pops, and it was called Top of the Pops. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, I think we missed out on that.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
we,
I think it was pretty
I
cool. I
think,
think it was pretty
I
cool
think
for
that
me. Like that 1999. Wait, what year did you say you were born? You said you're the 90s.
I was born in '93.
Yeah, you're just a young fella at 99. I think I was like what, 12 or 13? Like I
Yeah,
like turning from
I barely
99
remember
to
anything of the '90s.
dude, 99 to 2000, that New Year's Eve celebration. I remember that. I fully remember that. And that was a bit of a time. I felt like leaving the past and going into the future. It was very strange, but it was kind of cool. The old man fell into a fire as well that day. That was fucking funny.
Please tell me more about that.
So it was a New Year's Eve party. I really hope he sees this one day. I'll show him. It was a New Year's Eve of 1999. Everyone was around. All the adults drinking, kids running around like crazy. It's like 11:30. It's half an hour to the ball drop, and there was this dude. He was like hammered. Everyone knew he was just fucking hammered, and he's getting closer and closer to the fire, and he's like stumbling, drops his beer, nearly burns his head. I think it was his hand. He grabbed the fire pit, kind of burned his hand, but attempting to brace himself while picking up the beer, and then he backs off. He's like, my hand. And then he kind of stumbles again, loses his footing. The old man sees it. The old man's loaded too. Goes in, dives, pushes the dude out of the way. But the old man goes into the fireplace. And he's like, he's not on fire, but he's in the fireplace. And he jumps out. Everyone gets him, throws him on the ground, stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, right. That was the end of 99 for me, man. It couldn't be any funnier. That's so
That
you know.
probably carried you into the new year laughing.
Oh man, that was a time. Yeah,
I still find it strange though that your new year is in the summer.
yeah. And our Santa Claus wears thongs and stubby shorts and a singlet.
You can't say thongs here because when you say
'Cause-
thongs, British people have a very different idea about thongs.
yeah, but if I said to you, "Chuck us me thongs," you wouldn't go to my chest of drawers and pull out all my thongs, would you?
Well,
Right?
knowing you,
Would you go for a look?
I just might.
You know what I mean, though.
No, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't want to see those. But you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, but
don't.
I,
It's the context.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know if everyone here knows that that word is used that way.
So you go for the classic flip flops.
Flip flops, yeah, that's what I would go with. Flip
You know what they
flops.
you know what they call them in New Zealand?
But which what?
They call them jandals.
Jandals.
Correct.
How did they get to jandal?
I don't know. They're New Zealanders. I don't know. I don't know how to answer these questions.
You've thrown me off track a little bit now. I wasn't expecting Kiwi-based humour about flip-flops.
Well,
Do you want to hear a funny joke?
go.
This, I think it was Norm Macdonald who said this one.
Legend.
He is a legend, isn't he? Norm Macdonald. No one, I think he was obviously very famous in Canada,
Oh yeah.
but no one in this country has heard of him. No one in Britain knows about Norm Macdonald.
Really?
And he was devastatingly funny.
Hilarious.
His 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 biggest joke, I think, the one about Hitler. And it ties in perfectly as well. This sounds really morbid, but it ties in perfectly with Norm Macdonald's death because Norm Macdonald was riddled with cancer,
Huh.
and he didn't tell anyone. Like he was devastatingly ill, and no one knew about it. And the way he set up his joke about Hitler was actually perfect for that context, but also perfect in the context of his own soon to be death as well. Like he was a genius. Like I know we use the word genius too often, but Norm Macdonald was a genius.
Well, you're gonna have to let the fans know what this joke is, my boy.
Okay.
Oh no.
What happened to the Jew who walked into a wall with a full erection?
Oh no. I don't want to play this game anymore. What?
Broke his nose.
Dude. If we weren't already fucking cancelled, we're cancelled now, man. Dude. He loves it.
I'm hyperventilating. I
Yeah,
think that might be my favorite joke.
He's a
And
he's a funny bastard.
I think it might be my favorite joke, and I think the reason why I love it so much is the use of the term full erection.
So, not just a semi, not just a not just a semi hard erection, just a full blown one.
full erection. All right, should we get back to serious business?
Yeah, we kind of went off the rails a little bit there, but that's fine.
Yeah, but I think it's added a bit of levity to the situation because 9/11 shit's pretty dark, isn't it?
It's pretty fucking dark.
Too dark for most people, probably. So let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Programming.
Oh, you should see. We got a fair bit of hate, I would say,
Huh.
online this week because of our uh, our unwillingness to use sunscreen.
Really?
Yeah, it turns out most people are not ready to be told that sunscreen is bad for you.
Huh.
Why is that? Why do people swear by sunscreen? Why is it that they can't look at what they're actually putting on their skin and think that might be a bad idea?
Isn't that crazy?
Have you ever looked at the ingredients of a bottle of sunscreen?
No.
You know, like, I don't get that. Why would you use it?
Paul Salandino uses beef tallow. He also uses eggs to wash his hair. He can go kind of extreme like that. But
Well, here's the question. I haven't done that, but is it extreme? What's the reasoning behind it?
of using
What's he getting
egg,
from it?
using egg
Yeah,
for like shampoo, well,
yeah.
you have like a high vitamin, high protein, high fat. Like eggs are a beautiful little encased vitamin protein bomb. You can have them raw, you can have them scrambled, you can have them fried, you can have them poached, you can have them whatever the fuck way you want. They're great. But then you see all these soap
Eggs,
companies. You see all these soap companies
eggs are
that
about
are
as good as it gets.
barrel good as get. They're perfectly packaged. There's no
Yeah.
foil. There's no plastic. There's nothing. It's the way it's supposed to be. And you get that, and then you see like the shampoo companies that are adding vitamins. Oh, a vitamin B12 additive to your Dove shampoo or your Pantene Pro V vitamin complex bullshit when you could just use an egg. Now, I get it. But look at the name. Shampoo? Poo. Why is poo in there?
That is
Did it
a good question.
did it come from another language like such and such with the poo in there, but it meant like hair washing material? I don't know. But why is poo in there?
I don't know if it's actually poo, and I don't want Procter and Gamble suing us for suggesting that there's poo in their products.
Good call. Good call.
But I don't think you should use shampoo either. I think that's bullshit. Pardon the pun. Um, but I haven't taken a deep dive into why to use the eggs for the hair. I've been told that it's good, but I haven't been told why it's good, why I should be
Yeah, I
doing
don't
it.
know. I don't know so much why, but I could only imagine that it's all the vitamins and nutrients that come from egg. Put it in your hair, kind of thing.
But why not just eat it?
Exactly. Like you could eat it and get the necessary vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff from it, right?
Do you know what I saw the other day? Was a guy have fried eggs and he ate the white and then left the yolk behind.
Huh. It's a bit strange.
I wanted to scream at him for being so stupid.
That's the good stuff.
That's the whole reason to eat the egg is to get the yolk in you because that's where all of the nutrition is. And this guy, it's criminal actually, isn't it? That mainstream health advice has told people to limit their egg consumption because of cholesterol.
Now, a very old maybe mindset or approach to bodybuilding was one egg and then like five or six or more in the volume of egg whites. So it'd be predominantly egg white. So you'd minimize the fat
Yeah,
content. So you'd see
but
like these
that's a
guys eating like this one yellow piece in a sea of egg white.
but their bodybuilders are maximizing for muscle growth, right?
Muscle growth, yeah.
So they're trying to get as much protein inside of them as possible. They're not maximizing for overall health and longevity.
No, true.
Because if you were, you'd eat the whole egg.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
So
eggs are great. I haven't started putting them in my hair, but
no, but like we said before, Vince Gironda ate 36 eggs a day and he looked amazing.
do you see?
No homo.
Oh, sidetrack because you knew that was going to happen. There was a lady that's known as a super centurion. She reached her birthday of 117. Do you see that?
Yeah,
She eats 2 eggs a day and 3.5 ounces of red meat every day.
based.
Based. Based on what?
Have you not? Have you not seen this? This is the based is the new. I mean, fairly new. Let's say based
Come on,
is
man.
internet slang.
Is that good?
You've heard of woke, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, based is the opposite of woke.
Based is the opposite of work. Okay.
Put it like
So,
this. Put it like this. If woke is blue haired soy boy, if woke is the blue haired soy boy, based is the giga chad,
okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah. Remember, I'm
Do
born
you
in the 80s, man.
understand?
Remember, I'm born in the 80s,
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I'm
why
still
I'm just trying
learning.
to. I'm trying to.
I'm learning this
I'm
new
trying to
slangs.
bring you along. You know.
I say like every now and then I like to fire up the kids, and just be like, "Oh yeah, for real, no cap." Say that, and they kind of look
Mm,
confused because you're not supposed to say for real. It's supposed to be fr. That's it. But I just, I say it. I'll come at them for
yeah.
real, no cap.
I bet they're impressed when you say no cap.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm learning here. Every day's a learning curve.
You know what this. You know what they're saying now
But
is words like mint and cherry. Those
but
both
that
mean good.
okay, but that okay, of course that like mint. Uh, I will use cards for example. The highest grade you can get is a 10, and it's called gem mint. We know mint is the top notch. I feel like that's being reused. I feel like that's getting the I feel like that's getting the roadhouse treatment.
They've also started saying kosher.
Dude, that's super English, man. That's been around for fucking ages.
Yeah, but it had gone the way that you only really said it if something wasn't kosher.
Yeah,
So you'd say that's not kosher. Now they're saying kosher, just saying being like kosher for something good.
yeah, that's a bit funny. I'm pretty sure they say it on
They'd
Lock,
say
Stock, and
like
Smoking
they'd say
Barrels
that's
or
that's
Snatch.
kosher.
Yeah,
Yeah, but in that case they would say it's not kosher,
that's not kosher. Yeah,
right? And you're showing your age now because those movies are 30 years old.
isn't that crazy? Is Snatch really 30 years old? Nah.
I still, I
No,
look
no,
it
no.
up. I'll
No, no, I'm looking
bet.
it up. I'm looking it up.
Snatch is from 2000, so it's only 24 years old.
24. But Lock, Stock was the 90s. Yeah, 98.
You sure?
Yeah, 98.
Shit.
Lock, Stock was the
I bet
first
you
Guy
think.
Ritchie one.
I actually
That
think
was poo, fire.
Snatch is a really good film.
Snatch is incredible.
I I obviously Brad Pitt is incredible in Snatch, and Jason Statham is the star as well. But the line that I quote the most from that movie is one of Tyrone. No, not of Tyrone.
No, the other guy.
Tyrone's trying to park.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyrone's trying to park, and he says, "You get a jumbo fucking jet in there."
Yeah, because he crashes into it. When you reverse, things come at you. Dude, it's so good.
So whenever now someone's trying to park, it's mandatory if you're British to say, "You could get a jumbo jet in there."
But if you say it now, so
You just
this is
have to do it.
yeah, so this is crazy. Like, I work with some guys that are older than me, and I work with some guys that are younger than me. And the other day we were talking about movies, and I was like, "Oh, like Point Break. Point Break's awesome. Keanu and Gary Busey." But he was like, "No, I never seen it." I was like, "What?" Like, it was confusing. And then there was someone younger, and then we're like, "Oh, what movies have you seen?" They hadn't seen a Quentin Tarantino movie. Wrap your head around that.
That's that
Imagine
is
that.
strange. I haven't seen
Okay,
Point
so
Break, but I've seen all the Tarantino movies.
you haven't seen Point Break. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to pause you right there. One, imagine you've never seen a Quentin Tarantino movie, and I just told you about this guy. You have 9 movies to watch. You're going to watch them back to back to back to back. How incredible would that be? You've never seen them before,
That would be the experience of a lifetime.
right? Isn't that like that's immediately
If
where my
if
brain
you
went?
if you've never seen a Tarantino movie and then you watched all 9 back to back to back,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be the same person
No.
as you were a day ago.
Yeah, no chance.
Your mind would have changed irreversibly. There's no
Yeah,
going back to the person you were before.
because like most people that have seen it have watched 1 and had a break, and then 2 and had a break. Might have gone back to 1, and then 3 came out. Watch 4, come back and revisit them, right? And you kind of just like get normal. But imagine never watching them and go movie 1 to movie 9, dude. If I was them, I would just wait until he puts out 10, because you know that's the end, and then you get to watch 1 to 10 front to back. That
I think
would
your
be an
fuzzy little head would
experience.
explode.
Man. Anyway, yeah, Point Break. That's your homework for the week. You need to watch that.
What?
Keanu Reeves, Gary Busey, Patrick Swayze, Anthony Kiedis, Flea. That's about all the names I got.
Listen,
Prime
you know I
time.
don't watch new movies, right? I'm
Well,
getting
don't watch
on
the
a
new one.
I'm getting on a flight. I'm getting on a flight tomorrow, and I hope they have Notting Hill on there, because if they do, I'll watch it 3 or 4 times back to back.
Could you imagine, dude? Because you know how you can see people's screens on a plane, and you're kind of like, oh, what are they watching? Or what are they getting into? If I looked over and I saw you watching Notting Hill, I'd be like, probably won't talk to him. And then like I'll be watching my thing. I'll be watching like Avengers or something like super fucking King Kong or some shit. And then I look back over 2 hours later, and it's kind of like restarted. I'll be like, is he watching it again? And then you did that 2 or 3 times on a flight. I'd be a little bit scared. I'd be scared to be close to you.
I think your level of respect for a man would go up if you noticed that he'd
No,
watched Notting Hill 4 times back to back on a plane. I think you'd want to talk to that person and figure
no.
out
I think
what's
he's in a
going
dark.
on inside their
I
brain.
Yeah, I think he's in a dark place, and you don't know what's going to happen, right? Especially on a plane like 30,000 feet in the air. You talk to this guy, hey man, are you cool, dude? You don't know what's going to happen.
All I'm saying is, I think you've got to be pretty confident to watch Notting Hill back to back to back to back on an aeroplane with 400 people around you.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. It's. I mean, good for you, man. But I'd be having questions. I'd be having
We'll
questions that I
see,
could.
won't we? We'll see.
Like
We'll
I'd
see
be
what's
tapping
on
the
there.
guy. I'd be tapping the guy like the seat in front of me, and be like, "If we have to take down this guy, are you with me?" Like, because he does. He seems a little bit unhinged.
Hey, this guy
Like
is sitting next to me. He's watched Notting Hill back to back, and he's put it on again for a third time. And
we
I'm
have
watching him,
five.
and he's actually watching it.
We
He's
have.
mouthing along to it as well. What's going on here?
If you're keen, if he gets up, because he hasn't been up to wee yet, which is crazy. Is he peeing in a bottle? We don't know. Are you cool if he gets up? We just take him to the ground and like hopefully a U.S. Marshals on this flight because we need to subdue this guy. What's he gonna
Do
do
you ever
next?
have that? Do you ever have that when you're on a transatlantic flight, a fairly long flight, right? And there's a guy sitting next to you, next to the window, and he doesn't get up to piss once.
Yeah,
What's that about?
yeah. And that see, I'm a bit of a degenerate when I get on international planes because I know the source is for free. That person that doesn't get up for a whiz, I think they get on some heavy sedatives.
How is it possible?
Dude, I've seen people fall asleep before takeoff, and I've seen people wake up on landing. Like it's strange.
Yeah, I usually sleep just fine on a plane, but I always need to take a piss. Who are these people that
Always.
don't have to piss once? Like, I can't go 8 hours and not have a piss. I can't. Don't tend to go all through the night without having a piss.
Yeah. Well, you stay
So
hydrated, right?
who are these people that sit on an aeroplane where there's nothing to do except for go for a piss and don't go for a piss once on a whole flight?
And that's like you do need to stay hydrated. You do need to drink a good amount of water in your daily life. But when you're flying, you need to drink that little bit more. You need to drink water. Whether it's like a 2 hour flight or a fucking 14-hour flight. You need to drink the water.
It takes 11 hours to fly to California. Some people will sit there and not get up to piss once.
Man, it's crazy, isn't it?
I'm going to keep an eye out for those degenerates
Yeah. Yeah.
because that freaks me out. That's stranger. That is more strange than watching Notting Hill back to back.
Uh yeah, yeah, no. No, Notting Hill back to back is pretty fucked up, man.
So tell me then, what should I be looking out for? Which movies should I find? If Point Break is on there, I should watch that, you're saying?
The original, let's get this out of the air. The original Point Break with Keanu Reeves, not the remake with actors that I don't even fucking know. Don't do the remake, the original. That's what you're doing.
What if there's Tarantino movies ready?
The 10th? No, it's not.
No, no, not the 10th, but just any Tarantino movies.
Oh, you're definitely watching Inglorious Bastards.
Mm. Now, do you ever feel weird when you're on a plane and you're watching a movie and it's either like a hyper violent or a movie where there's a fair bit of nudity or something like that. That's always strange, isn't it? Watching one of those on a plane. Because everyone can see that you're watching it.
I oh fuck, what did I watch that did have something like that? And instantly felt uncomfortable knowing that there's eyes behind me. Like, what the fuck's this guy into? You know, like. But I think it was fuck. I couldn't. And then I feel like, why do they put movies on like that on the plane? Is it just like a setup? Is it just a setup
Well,
just to get guys punked?
do you reckon they track that? Do you reckon they track who watched what on a plane? Because
Yeah, I
think
just
about
watched.
it. Think
Yeah,
about it. They have all of your details, right?
yeah,
They know which seat you're in, and they know what you watched, and they know for how long you watched it.
yeah. But then sometimes you pass out. Did I ever tell you about the time that I nearly got on a no-fly list?
No, but I would love to hear about it.
uh, it was a transatlantic actually. Flying to Heathrow, and was very excited. I was at Chili's at YYC for an extended amount of time.
Listen, Chili's at the Calgary airport. That's about as good as an airport experience gets.
If you're not
There's
at
something.
Chili's
There's something
at
special about
YYC,
that place.
if you're not at Chili's at YYC, did your vacation really start?
Oh, listen, it's worth going to Calgary just to go to Chili's in the airport on the way back. You're gonna have the time of your life, and
Yeah,
you're just knocking back El Presidente margaritas. They serve them up in a Boston shaker, so you
yeah,
get about 3 or 4 glasses of margarita per margarita.
yeah, yeah. It's a good time. And
Yeah,
you seeing people getting off their plane. You're like, ah, oh, that's cool. They're getting back from holiday. People are going like rushing to a gate, trying to carry kids. You see, you people watch the shit. You're in the prime location. So anyway,
yeah,
I've
and
had,
I'll tell you what as well. That is the peak. They don't run this flight anymore. British Airways, right? They
right,
used to run a British Airways flight from Calgary to London,
really,
and that was the peak of economy class travel. Right? You'd get to the Calgary airport, and the Calgary airport's actually quite nice. I'm a big fan. It's relatively new, and the international terminal is all nice. And it's nicely spread out. It's not busy. It's just as good as a medium-sized airport can get. You get there, you check yourself into the Chili's at Calgary Airport. You knock back 5 or 6 El Presidente margaritas, and then you get on your British Airways flight that doesn't take off until about 10 p.m.
yeah.
You sit down, they serve you food, and then you're out. You wake up, and it's the middle of the afternoon in London. That's about as good as economy class travel gets.
uh,
I did that one a few times, blitzed after going to Chili's.
uh, anyway, so I'm
Sorry
I'm
to
at Chili's.
interrupt.
No, no, no. It's good. It's good. You're hyping me up. So at Chili's, people watching, few pints in, excited to land in Heathrow. Families from the United Kingdom, so I'm like, never been. This is gonna be awesome. We walk to the gate. We're like, okay, cool. Get on the plane. It was a bit of a setup with the airline that we're flying with because my buddy flies with them, and he's working first class. So we're in Roach class. He knows it. I've already worded him up about it. So he's like, okay, sees me, gives me the nod. He's up in first class. He comes down the aisle with a bottle of Laurent Perrier Rosé. Walking into Roach class with champagne, and he's just looking right at me. So I'm like, oh, here we go. Would you like some champagne? I was like, yes, sir. So having champagne in Roach class, people around me not looking at my movie, they're looking at why I'm getting fucking champagne. So into that, plane takes off, few little snacks. I'm like, okay, I need to top up, have a few more beers. About nighttime, everyone's asleep. So I'm like, fuck, I'm fucking loaded. We've got about 4 or 5 hours to land until Heathrow. Until like we land at like 6 a.m. in Heathrow. So I'm like, okay, fuck, I'm loaded. Might go for a piss. Go for a piss at the back of the plane, and my buddy's gone to sleep. So I see a bunch of air hostesses in the back. So I'm like, oh, like, where are you guys from? Oh, we're from Calgary. Like, oh, cool. Like, I live in the area, and just making chit chat. I'm looking out the window. I'm started doing like snap kicks because I was like super excited. That was like kind of in the report. I was like, I'm gonna make London my bitch, and like doing like a karate kick and shit. So I guess like the top dog seen me do a snap kick in the galley while everyone was asleep and was like, so you have to go back to your seat. And I was like, okay, cool, no worries. Like, do you think I can grab a couple of beers to go? Kind of grab a couple of beer, sit down, kind of pass out, kind of not pass out, whatever. But buddy comes up, taps me on the shoulder, and was like, dude, someone got cut off from alcohol service. I was like, fucking no way. Where is he? He's like, I'm fucking looking at him. I was like, oh shit. Maybe some people that might want to have a word with you when you land. I'm like, oh fuck. This isn't good. We land, thankfully didn't see any people, get through customs. I'm like, man. It was a time. I'm on the tube train at 6 a.m. fucking hammered. Just trying to do my best British accent at every train station we stop at. Mind your gap, this is Hammersmith. I'm like, this is Hammersmith. The guys are reading like their paper, dipping their paper, looking at me, and then flicking it back up, like didn't want a part of it. Doors closed.
Disapprovingly.
Disapproving. Oh man. Get to the hotel at like 9 a.m. Can I check in early? Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Went to sleep for 2 hours. Buddy was like, there's no chance he's getting up. I get up, rally, go to the pub, fucking keep it going. That's how my London trip started.
That sounds a bit wild, to be honest. You might want to check yourself.
Yeah. Ever since then, I just get a little bit wild, and yeah, I kind of dialed it back.
Well, I've never been cut off on a plane,
Yeah. I think they see me coming.
but you.
I'm coming out of Chili's with a little bit of a stumble, and then they're like, okay, gonna have to put a bell on this guy. But
Well, I've certainly been drunk after being in Chili's and got on a plane, but every time I have, I've just then gone to sleep on the plane.
yeah, I wish I could, man. Flying scares the shit out of me, dude. Flying scares the shit out of me. I'm not gonna
Well,
lie. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It scares the fucking shit out of me.
objectively, it's a pretty scary thing to do.
Turbulence scares the fuck out of me.
Well, here's the thing, right? They say that flying is the safest way to travel, and that is statistically the case, right? The overwhelming majority of the time, nothing bad's going to happen. The trouble is, if something bad does happen, you're fucked.
They say from like 30,000 feet or something, it takes 3 minutes in a downfall for the plane to come to a complete crash, if that's the way it's going to go without recovery. Could you imagine screaming for 3 minutes?
That's
Do you know what I mean?
It's terrifying, isn't it?
If you're on a roller coaster,
Because
it's like,
there's
stop, stop. Do that for 3 fucking minutes. That is terrifying.
Yeah, and there's no way of escape either.
No,
Like
absolutely not.
there's not a big stash of parachutes in the back for
No, and
everyone. Like if
and
that
it's not.
plane's going down,
It's
you're
going down.
going down with it, and
Yeah.
it's going a long way down.
See, some people say I have control issues because if I'm not in control of the thing, for example, planes, I get a bit freaked out. But if I'm like driving my car or riding my mountain bike, these kind of things, and I'm in somewhat control, I have no problems whatsoever. Zero.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
In
anything can happen
shitty
in those
shitty
instances. Anything.
yeah,
I could crash into a fucking
but
tree.
I feel the same in that in shitty driving conditions, I'd way rather be driving the car myself than
Absolutely.
someone else driving
A
it.
hundred percent.
I don't care. Don't care who it is
Yep.
driving. I'd rather be driving myself
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that.
because when the shit really does hit the fan, if you're not in control of it, you just feel
Helpless.
powerless, right? And that is anxiety at that point because you there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do.
It's a bit of a dark turn, that isn't it? And look, we've ended up on airplanes again.
Dude.
Where did we go? Oh. We were going to talk a lot about conspiracy theories, but we've kind of gone off track.
I kind of like it though. You brought energy into me.
It might mean we might have to do conspiracy theories again some other time.
Or maybe we just sprinkle every episode with one or two. Just a little
Oh,
sprinkle.
speaking of planes and conspiracy theories, um, there's a famous conspiracy theory about the Earth being flat. You must have heard about it.
There's been whispers, I would say.
And I'm going to address it because I don't believe in this. I can't wrap my head around it. Because when I've been on an airplane, when you look out the window, you can see the curvature of the Earth. So that to me screams that the Earth is actually a globe.
Or how do you
But
know it's not like a contact lens?
well, the theory is that it's like a disc.
Yeah, like a contact lens.
So if you imagine the Earth as a big disc, with the center being the North Pole,
Yeah.
and then the further away from the North Pole you get, the closer to the edge of the disc you get. And then the outside of the disc, the very edge of the Earth, is Antarctica, wrapped around the whole Earth.
Yeah.
So, what's going on in Antarctica?
It's very hard. I wish I was like, you wish you had that infinite amount of money and you could just get on a sailboat with a team, have some great food, things to get you by. And if you just sailed south of Africa from Cape Town, and once you get to Antarctica, you take a hard right and see what happens. Do you take a hard
And go
right?
all the
Do you take a hard
go all the
right?
way around.
Do you take a hard right, and on your left-hand side, do you see an ice wall until you go all the way back around Africa? Or do you take a hard right and you slowly see Antarctica disappear and you just keep going into the ocean? The next stop is Patagonia. You need to explore and seek out the information to all sorts, anything in life for yourself, I find. So with that kind of stuff, it's just hard to take someone else's word, isn't it? Whether it is a hollow Earth, a flat Earth, a globe Earth, like you just need that cash to go find out for yourself and jump on a sailboat and See what it's about.
I don't want to jump on a sailboat to Antarctica.
No, I think that would be pretty cool.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The sea is so fucking rough down there
How the fuck do you know?
that, dude, there's this thing, right, called the internet,
Because you believe
and
everything on it.
on it, there's a. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you suggesting that the notoriously difficult seas around Antarctica is actually a conspiracy theory to stop people from going to Antarctica?
No, I was actually just giving you the gears
Are you saying
as I'm from an
are
island
you
that's
saying that
fucking
all of
close
the
to
videos of the
Antarctica.
rough seas down there are you saying that all of the rough seas down there, the videos of rough seas I've seen, are made up fake footage to discourage people from going to Antarctica?
No, because I've seen rough seas around Tasmania and it looks fucking epic. So, yeah. No, there's probably rough seas down there.
Yeah, rough rough seas are terrifying.
Yeah, because you're not a seafarer. I was born on the sea,
I
man.
still can't listen. I'm British. We're all seafarers.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man.
I I quite
I've
like the
been I
sea,
like
but
I've been fishing. I've been deep sea fishing in between Tasmania and New Zealand. Like I know what those fucking ocean. I know what those oceans can produce. It's fucking epic.
yeah, it's insane. And it's mad to think that for most of human history, people were out there on wooden boats.
Yeah,
Sometimes not very big wooden boats. Like think about that. Think about crossing the Atlantic 500 years ago on a wooden boat.
yeah. Well, many
Think
people
about
fucking died. They weren't
yeah,
always
but think about
successful.
think about think about being Christopher Columbus on a wooden boat, not knowing exactly where you were going, but you were just going to keep sailing
Yeah,
that
crazy.
way, and you had no idea what you were going to come across.
Yeah,
The
nuts.
size of the balls on the man to do that.
On a wooden boat of all things.
On a on a wooden boat in the North Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah,
The
that's fascinating.
Titanic went down in the North Atlantic.
Yeah,
The Titanic was a big metal ship. It was called the Titanic because it was Titanic. It was big. It was huge. It was the biggest boat in the world, and it crashed into an iceberg, allegedly, and it went down. And these
see,
guys,
that's a conspiracy theory in itself.
yeah, we're not. We haven't got time for that today, though. We'll do that another time. But these guys were going out there on an old wooden boat.
Oh, it's
I just,
impressive.
I just, I just don't have the minerals for that.
No, it's fucking crazy. I went to the Viking settlements in Newfoundland, and it's up there. It's so peaceful, so fucking quiet. The water's flat as fuck. Because it's a Viking settlement, you're coming from Scandinavia, Norway or whatever. So you would have traversed from Norway through Iceland, Greenland, and then you're coming down to Newfoundland, and you must encounter these very calm waters. And you're like, this is the fucking spot. Like, imagine seeing that after just being like through Greenland and Iceland, treacherous, cold as fuck waters, and then you just get to Newfoundland. Still cold as fuck, but somewhat calm. It must be so relieving. It must be just be like a massive weight off your shoulder that you're not gonna die. You just made it. It's impressive.
I'm just trying to think about that.
Yeah.
Um, suppose you could just join the Royal Navy and do it.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a seafarer.
Well, it's probably too late for you to join the Navy now. You could be one of those
Start my
deadliest
own
catch
navy.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's something quite primal about shows like Deadliest Catch, isn't there? Like
Yeah, I fucking love it.
if you're a man, you can't help but be enthralled by a show about guys out fishing on big seas. Like it is as as raw as entertainment can get for a man. Seeing someone doing that.
Yeah.
That's tapping into some kind of ancient primal instinct inside of us, right?
That's like that's the ocean hunter. You're just out there just you can't tame the sea. You can't fucking control it. You just gotta ride with
Yeah.
it and just hope that you can pull out something that's gonna be used as food for your family or friends or businesses. You got to use all this technology to find the school of tuna. Then you got to get the tuna in the fucking boat, and they're shaped like little fucking torpedoes, heavy as fuck. Something about it.
Hey, I quite like tuna.
Tuna's awesome.
I'm gonna eat so much tuna poke in the next few weeks that
It actually, it
by the
actually
time I
upsets me.
get back to London, I think I might be made of mercury.
That's a good goal to have, man. The pokey there is fucking fire. I'm
You
gonna
know?
send you. Actually, remind me. Send me a text, and I'll send you the hidden poke spot I found on Oahu. You're going to Oahu, right?
Yeah.
I got the spot.
And Kauai.
It was like a drive. It was
Well,
like a
look,
drive-through poke spot. It was fucking insane.
we should let the sports fans know that it's going to be a couple of weeks at least before we have another episode.
Yeah, yeah. We went a little bit. We went a little bit longer than normal. There, sports fans, in anticipation
Yeah, I
for
hope
the.
the sports fans appreciate the feature length episode that we've put in front of them this week.
Dude, I've watched
But it
movies that
is
are
for it
shorter than
is
this length.
yeah, exactly. It is for good
Yeah,
reason though, because we are going to be off the air for a couple of weeks. So
and that's cool, man.
you might think that's a good thing, but you might
Yeah,
not as well. You might be really sad. Um, so enjoy a couple of weeks of relative calm and peace without us bombarding you across the airwaves. But we're going to be away for a couple of weeks, so we look forward to seeing you again at the end of the month.
and I definitely
Right?
should be in way better form. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully Corey's not still a vegetable at the end of the month.
I should have it beaten by tonight, but I got it tomorrow for sure.
I'm sure you will. Look at the guns on you.
Look, they can even come through in the. Look at that.
I know. Rocky Mountain High.
Later, sports
Ciao.
fans.